Hi, everybody. This is Robyn Heron, your Carnivorous Grandma here. And with me, I have Carrie from Homestead How and JT from the Pickle Moonshine family. We have an extra bonus guest tonight. I'm so excited to have JT here with us. I'm very excited and so thankful to Carrie to agreeing to come on my channel for this interview tonight. And I know that we're also streaming on this channel. I'm seeing a lot of comments and welcomes from the chat already. I do have a scripture that goes along with my Carnivorous Grandma Speaks series. And so I do want to share that scripture tonight because I'm getting pretty mad at what I'm seeing. And the scripture speaks very strongly, and also it echoes how I'm feeling about things. So I just want to read this scripture. And I know that everybody's not a Christian, and that's okay. But this should resonate with you, actually, based on what we're seeing happening in our world today. It says, it's 1 Timothy 4 and 1 through 5, and I'm using the King James Version. It says, now the Spirit speaks expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron, forbidding to marry, and commanding to abstain from meats, which God hath created to be received with thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth. For every creature of God is good, and nothing to be refused, if it be received with thanksgiving, for it is sanctified by the word of God and prayer. And I'm sharing that for the first time tonight with you, Carrie, because I saw a video that you did recently where you were just pretty mad about what's going on. So I kind of just wanted to talk to you a little bit about that. I'm going to start with that topic. Like, what is your righteous indignation around what's going on in our world today? And same question to you, JT.
Yeah, well, it's weird now that I'm doing carnivore or what, but so much stuff just seems completely backwards. And the more I'm talking to people, and the more I'm learning, and the more I'm using my own two eyes, I'm seeing it more and more. I think one of the videos I did recently was I've become good friends with Jeff DeProsperous, who has stage 4 cancer, and he's doing really, really well. But he had to come up with his own regimen and his own process and his own procedure, and the traditional doctors he was going to weren't really helping him. It's really kind of nice how he says it, but his doctors are Dr. Chafee and Dr. Baker, and these people he's never met before. Um, and yeah, one of the things he told me that really upset me, and it was just crazy, is like Jeff will fast for 5 days before going in for chemotherapy. And then he does strict carnivore after that. So his body's always in ketosis. Now, there's a lot of science out there. This isn't some crazy carnivore thing. There's a lot of science out there that shows people that are doing carnivore diet or that are in deep ketosis, the chemotherapy drugs they need are actually way less than what they would need if they're on the standard American diet. And so Jeff does this whole thing and he fasts for 5 days, which I can't imagine because he's not overweight. He's basically at his goal weight now. So it's got to be a big struggle. And then at the chemotherapy treatment, they come around afterwards with cookies and Ensure full of sugar. And they're giving these people sugar. And so many of them are too like, oh, thank you, thank you. And they don't know any better. You can't blame them. But the doctors should know better. The healthcare people should know better than that. And they don't. And it's just like, wow, this is crazy. Things are so backwards. The thing that gets me really fired up, Robyn, is our children, this next generation of children, and they're being brought up on sugar and addicted to sugar. And then you're just seeing so many more with these learning disabilities and ADHD and overweight and becoming inflamed. And they basically become lifelong sugar addicts from a very young age. And they're never going to know what it's like to feel normal. That's one of the things that I get really fired up about, and one of the reasons I'm really passionate about doing the documentary and kind of getting the word out there. I really hope that we're going to look back, I don't know if it's 20 years from now, and be like, what the heck were we doing with all of that sugar? It's an addictive drug, and we're rewarding children with it and getting them hooked on it from such a young age. So yeah, I get kind of fired up with those things for sure.
Yeah, I think the world might be a little bit backwards right now, might be. It is very backwards, but
Yes.
we, as frustrated as I get about that, I try to remember that if I'm going to focus on the things that are wrong, I'm probably just going to keep multiplying that mess. So I just want to suggest to people to take a step back, take a breather, and know that these are all just birthing pains for us to get to the point where we're going to be. It's all part of the growth process, but we are part of that growth process. We have to share stories, we have to connect, we have to keep our voices heard, and we're going to get where we want to be as a society. We're going to be a whole lot healthier, and there's going to be less people frustrated on a daily basis. But if we're frustrated, just stay focused that we can make a big difference, and we need to, if we focus on the positives, we're going to make such a big huge change, people. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah. One last thing I want to add. I love that. One thing that's really helped me on carnivore is kind of what JT was just saying, focusing on what I have control of. So a lot of those things I just
Mm.
said upset me. Well, what do I have control of? I can't really change those things. Well, the only thing I can control is this documentary and sharing my example and getting the example out of Jeff and what's working for Jeff, sharing that whether it's on YouTube or through the documentary. That's the only thing I can really control. So that's what I try to focus on instead of getting all
I'm
flustered
sorry.
and upset. That's the only thing I can really control. So that's what I try to focus on instead of getting all flustered and upset.
Sorry about that. Let me see what it is that's doing that.
You have two windows open. Sometimes you might have two tabs open.
I did close one, so it's probably something going on my phone over here. Okay. I
I'm
think
not
we're
saying
good.
I never get flustered. I do get flustered with seeing all these little kids, and some of it even starts in the womb, Robyn, because the
Right.
parents are eating junk, they're smoking, they're drinking while they're pregnant. And I'm not blaming the girls, but some of it does start in the womb even, and it's almost like we never had a chance. Like you go to the gas station just for gas, and what's all up in there? Chips, tobacco, alcohol, sugar, donuts, soda. Like it's almost set up even from the womb. So it is frustrating. We need to tell people, eat healthy for your baby, eat healthy with your family. Me and my wife and my
Mhm.
son are a carnivore family now. And my son I tried to give him a cut up hot dog. He refused and wanted my prime rib. So he's now a meat snob, and he's 1.5, you guys. So we can do this. We can raise people
Wow.
to be healthy and happy.
That's awesome, guys. I felt a little discouraged today about it. I'm seeing a lot of different competing opinions. My sister called me or sent me a message and said that someone told her that a carnivore diet will cause dementia, and I was like, that's so backwards. I
Right.
mean, that's opposite world, right?
Completely opposite.
So
It's amazing how many things in this world are completely opposite from reality.
It's like upside down world. It really is.
it really is. So I do want to talk a little bit about kids, though, because as you were saying, the kids are coming out of the womb. Babies are
The
supposed to
sugar.
be born in ketosis. And I think a lot of babies are not. They're coming out already overweight, and not coming out in ketosis the way that they should be. And then also my granddaughter, my baby granddaughter, Autumn Sky, I love her name. She's going to be 1, but um, she had to thrive, and they gave her sugary formula to fatten her up. So, I mean, the key thing is that the sugar is the thing that makes you fat, right? And so that's why they give her sugary formula, double dose to fatten her up because she had failure to thrive.
Hmm.
I would love to see her be a carnivore, but she's not yet.
Robyn, I just want to say one thing I noticed, because I've got a 1.5-year-old who's in diapers still. And I
Mhm.
notice he needs less diaper rash cream. And then when he does have a movement in his diaper, it does not give him a rash now. Before, when we had him on a standard American diet for a little bit, his diaper rash was bad. And the
Wow.
slightest poo would make it bad for days. And I would have to work and just keep airing them out, putting cream on and all this stuff. I haven't had that problem once with my son since he's been carnivore. So I just wanted to throw that out. I don't even think we need
Interesting.
to have babies having the diaper rash anymore if you feed them the right thing. Because when it comes out, there's not poisons in there that are irritating his skin. Just wanted to throw
Wow,
that.
that's amazing, JT. That's actually amazing, because I know that all of my grandkids, all of them had, they're all various ages now, but they all had, that problem of diaper rash, pretty bad diaper rash. So that's probably was because they had too much sugar in their system.
Too much junk in the food, exactly. So that was been a carnivore epiphany for me. I was like, wow. It took me a week to notice. I'm like, dude, this kid is not getting diaper rashes no more. Like, so many things you notice on carnivore, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Now, so I didn't allow you guys to introduce yourselves. I think you guys go without introduction, but I do want to try to coin a new phrase for you, Carrie. I'm calling you the carnivore champion.
Yay. Oh, thank you.
Because I think about in the workplace, we have champions for different teams and stuff like that. The champion is a person that kind of goes out before us and makes our voices heard and helps us get things done. And I see you that way in this community, Carrie. I'm really so thankful to you for everything that you're doing.
Oh,
so go ahead.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I just wanted to say real quick too, I am streaming this on my channel too. So huge shout out to Robyn, CarnivorousGrama. I love what you're doing. It was so cool. I watched you. We did a video together, and now I've seen you do all these other videos, and you were with Anita from Ketogenic Woman, who I love.
Yes.
And you're getting the word out there and spreading it. So anyone that's watching from my channel, go check out Robyn's channel, CarnivorousGrama, and JT too, Poco Moonshine family for sure. These guys are killing. JT's talking.
If you're a fan of me, you got to be a fan of Robyn. You got to be a fan of Carrie, because we're all killing it on carnivore, guys.
Yeah. Otherwise, for my quick intro, I'm over 6 months on carnivore, and it's changed my entire life. I'm down 100 pounds since my heaviest, but the biggest thing is I completely overcome depression, anxiety, and the short story is these were all of my pills that I took, many of these at one time, and as of right now, I am on 0 pills. The only medicine I need right now is beef, salt, and water. That is the only thing I eat. And it's not just that I'm no longer depressed. I'm no longer anxious. I'm the polar opposite. I'm happy. I'm excited. I'm joyful. I'm thankful. I'm grateful. And carnivore has completely changed my life. And I've seen it change so many other people's lives. The biggest thing for me is there's so many hopeless people out there that have had horrible depression like I have. And I want to reach those people. So we're doing this Carnivore Diet Documentary to show the examples of real people doing carnivore diet, not just to lose weight, but to overcome depression, type 2 diabetes, all sorts of health ailments and issues. We're going to track them for the course of 1 year doing carnivore diet. And it's been it started out as a passion, like, oh, I'm just going to do one YouTube video. And it's turned into more of a purpose in life or a responsibility, having this information, because I know there's so many hopeless people out there. So that's kind of my intro.
My intro is some people say this guy talks a lot, but I'm glad he talks a lot, because if he didn't talk as much as he did and share his story, I never would have found out about the carnivore diet, and I probably would still be suffering to this exact minute. I feel like I'm 18 again. I'm on day 101. I've got muscles popping out where they shouldn't be. I'm dancing in bacon suits. You guys, if you're not on carnivore, man, you are missing out on all the gravy life has to offer, guys.
Totally 100% agree. Thank you for those introductions. I want to talk a little bit about your first video, Carrie. I think you did a 30-day video. I haven't seen the 30-day video because I found you, I can't even remember. You started going up on my feet and I'm like, look at this guy. He's climbing up on this, like, it looked like some kind of a thing outside. You were climbing up.
Yeah.
Pull-ups and stuff. And I'm, look at this guy, so how have things changed for you since that 30 days? I know that you just had another milestone, right? 200 days.
Yes. Yeah, it's been incredible. The 30-day video I did, like, I noticed so much on day 30, and someone told me at that time, oh, just wait, it gets better. So I just recently hit 200 days or 6 months. And one of the biggest things for me is, besides the depression I mentioned earlier and all of the weight loss, I had this horrible arthritis in my foot for a year and a half before starting carnivore. And I wasn't sure if carnivore was going to fix that. Like around day 30, it was still bothering me a little bit. But that I was going to need surgery. This thing hurt so bad. It felt like a fractured bone. I couldn't put any pressure down on my foot. And I think like around day 100 or something, I'm like, this thing is completely gone. I have none of this pain in my foot. They thought it was gout. Then they said it was arthritis. I saw 3 foot specialists and I was using crutches for a while. It hurt so bad. I was just sitting on the couch, basically doing nothing for a year and a half because it hurt so bad to put any pressure down. That's completely resolved on carnivore. You know, there's a lot of people say, oh, Carrie, you're so inspirational. You talk a lot. You get me fired up about carnivore. And that's true. Like JT's saying, the reason is I was in such a dark, horrible place before this. My depression, my hopelessness. I mean, I'm not like, oh, I was just depressed for a little while. A lot of these pills represent 10, 15 years of my life on medication for depression and anxiety. And I was in such a dark place for so long, not just the depression and anxiety, but I had stomach issues and IBS. I was just constantly in pain, brain fog, fatigue. Like I was not living it all before. So those have been some of the other changes. And the last thing, because I'll talk forever and ever, is my family. My daughter started carnivore and has had just tremendous results. My other daughter, who was a vegan for 5 years, switched to carnivore, is having amazing results. My mom, my stepdad, both of my sisters, it's just spreading like wildfire. And I didn't even tell these people. I'm not like, you got to do carnivore. They saw me. My sister saw me and she's like, how do you got like some muscles now? What's going on? And I'm like, it's just coming on with carnivore. And she started getting interested and then started watching some videos and it went from there. Hey, Bill Knott's on too. That's the other.
Yay! Hey, Bill.
Hey, Bill, love you, buddy.
In the last 300 days, meeting Bill and becoming, I sound like a grade schooler. I have so many best friends now. I got this guy right here, my best friend. Bill's my best friend. Robyn's my best friend. Jeff. So it's making so many friends has been amazing on carnivore for sure.
I'm so glad to see Bill here. I actually wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on with Bill. Can you, I mean, Bill's not here to tell his story. Can you just tell us a little bit about Bill? I think his story is super compelling. And I can't wait to get Bill on CarnivorousGrama.
Yes. Yeah. The crazy thing with Bill is he's still a little nervous to do some other videos. And Bill, I know you're watching this right now. Stop being nervous. He's a better YouTube. I've been doing YouTube for 8 years. He's killing it. He's doing a better job than I could. When he first started, I'm like, do you need any advice? And now I'm like, Bill, can you give me some advice? Like, what do I got to do differently?
Bill, I need advice. You're running circles around me, buddy. Right. I can't even keep up in a bacon suit.
Yeah. So the quick story with Bill is it's an incredible, crazy story. So Bill saw one of my videos and he was inspired and he was already thinking about doing carnivore. And Bill was at that time 700 pounds, stuck in his house. And he left me this huge comment on one of my videos. And it really just touched my heart. Like I couldn't stop thinking about this. I immediately replied back. I think I put my phone number on there. I know I put my email. I was like, let's talk. I can help you. But he said, I'm 700 pounds. I've been stuck in my house for 4 years. I haven't been able to leave. And I could just feel the desperation, the hopelessness in his words. And so I responded back. I was like, and he also said, I want to start carnivore, but I can't afford meat. I live in Alaska. It's very expensive up there. And he said, maybe I could start a YouTube channel and that way I could support myself without being able to leave. And all those things, I'm like, yes, yes, yes. All of those things are possible. So I told him all of that in my comment back to his comment. Sometimes on YouTube, when you comment, it goes off into the ether and neither party sees it again. And I was afraid that was going to happen. And it did happen because I commented back and I waited and I kept checking. And it's kind of a pain to check. Like I actually bookmarked it and I had it on my calendar. And every day I went back in and I found Bill's comment and my reply. And I didn't see a reply back from Bill. And about a week went by and I couldn't stop thinking about it. I'm like, this guy, I know he can do it. I know he can do it. And so I put a whole video out and I said 700-pound Bill from Alaska. That was the title of the video. I didn't have a picture of him or anything. I put a random picture of a 700-pound guy I found on Google Images. 700-pound Bill from Alaska. I want to help you. You can do this. And long story short, I just kept waiting. And then on my phone, a couple hours later, I had a ding. And sorry, let me just grab this. Sorry, I got to show you this here. I think I had it. This is one of my favorite things. I heard a ding on my phone and it was an email and it was a picture. And this was the picture. he wrote on his paper towel roll, "Hi, Carrie." And I was like, yes, he got back to me. And then we had a phone call shortly after that. And this is all incredible or whatever. I'm like, Bill, the carnivore community is amazing. They will get behind you. We can set up a GoFundMe. We can raise some funds so you'll have money for meat. YouTube, I will help you. I've been doing it for 8 years. I'll help you get your channel set up, any questions you have, and then I will do a video and I will promote your video. That's the hardest part on getting started on YouTube, is getting momentum, going from nothing. And we talked on the phone and he wanted to do it. He's like, I want to do all of this. Let's do it all. And the craziest thing was, less than 3 weeks later, my daughter Emma, who is 16 years old, and myself were in a plane flying to Alaska to meet Bill for the first time and to film him for the documentary I mentioned earlier. And none of this was, I wasn't like, Bill, I'm going to help you with all this, but you have to do this documentary. He wanted to participate in the documentary. He wanted to inspire people. He wanted to be accountable. And so, yeah, we flew out there, and Bill said it. He said it in the comment right here. It was Providence. It was meant to be. But as Emma and I were driving to his house, we both looked at each other and we're like, what the heck are we doing? We don't even know who this dude is. And it's only been 3 weeks. We're in Alaska and we're going to film this guy. And he's on this big homestead. And yeah, anyhow, long story short, we went there, we met him. He's my brother from another mother. He's my best friend forever. Like, we just have this crazy connection. And we filmed the start of his carnivore journey. And he's over 60 days now, which just went like this. And he's
So
thriving
fast.
on carnivore and on YouTube too. And the GoFundMe. So we did that GoFundMe. It went insane. I don't even know what's in there at this point. It was like 17,000, 20,000.
Oh,
So he had all the money he needed in order to afford meat. And it is very expensive for meat in Alaska. But then the other thing I'll say, and then I'll stop talking, his YouTube channel. He did his YouTube thing. I did a video. I'm like, everyone go watch Bill's video. And people started going over there now. And now he does a video once a week for the last 60 days or so. His videos are getting like 20, 30,000 views each. And the thing with Bill was, he said this to me when I interviewed him for the documentary, spoiler alert, but I had no purpose before, Carrie. I was just like, what am I doing? I'm just sitting here for 4 years stuck in my house. He went from that to having the ultimate purpose. He's inspiring so many people on YouTube. People are commenting by the thousands of people this man is inspiring, telling them about his story, being brave and putting it out there. And they're like, I'm going to start carnivore now, or I'm going to start a YouTube video now, because Bill, if you can do this, I can do this too. And so he went from thinking he has no purpose in life to having the ultimate purpose. It's just so cool. And he's up out of bed now. He's got a desk, and I'm so excited for him. His inflammation is down. His mood is improved. And it's an incredible thing. He's just an amazing person.
I think about Bill almost every single day, and I wonder how he's doing. And I want to go to Alaska. We'll go outside.
Yes.
I know that it's probably going to be a lot of people who want to go, but gosh, I would love to be there to support Bill's excursion outside. But I really feel like Bill's going to be going outside before next spring.
I think you're right. I told him, like, hey, whenever you're ready, give me the call. And I told Bill this before. I'm like, Bill, all these people keep saying they want to be there when you walk out that door. See, here he is. Bill just said, if I can do it, anyone can. Let's all jump on the health wagon. Absolutely.
Let's go.
Yes.
I said to Bill, a whole bunch of people want to see you walk out the door. That's going to be part of the documentary, seeing him walk out the door for the first time. It's so sad that he's in the most beautiful place on the planet. And that is not an exaggeration. If you guys haven't been to Alaska, it's breathtaking. It's amazing. I can't wait to go back. But he's stuck in there. And after 4 years plus, he's going to be able to walk out those doors. So Bill said, bring them all up, bring a caravan of people. We'll have a whole audience out there while he walks out the door. So we'll see what happens.
Well, that will be incredible. Absolutely incredible. So what I've been noticing, Carrie, and I'm a question for JT also, but what I've been noticing is that after Bill's story, there are so many people that are coming out to say, I was this overweight. I was 600 pounds. I was 500 pounds, and I went carnivore, and now I'm 300 pounds or whatever it is. Have you guys noticed that?
Yes. Yeah.
We were talking about that earlier today, how there's like 12 new carnivore channels a day, and everybody's got these wild results. It's beautiful.
I feel like it's spreading like wildfire. There's so many people doing it and succeeding on it. And the other thing, like I'm hearing the Bill stories, which is so encouraging for Bill. Like, Bill, I did it. I'm done it, or I'm doing it, or I've already done it. But the other thing, Robyn, I've been hearing so much of that I love, and I can never get enough of these comments, are from people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, thriving on carnivore for some of them for years. I get these comments all the time. I don't know what it is with my channel. I mean, I did a video with Carnivore Ron, who's awesome, and I think he's in the chat right now. Carnivore Ron is amazing. He's thriving on carnivore, hitting the gym and doing all this stuff. He was one of the first videos I did, and I have to thank Ron so much because those are my favorite comments to get. 70-year-old person saying, yeah, I've been doing carnivore for a couple of years now. I think a lot of them found my channel because of that video I did with Carnivore Ron. And Carnivore Ron has his own channel too. Shout out. Go check his channel out as well. Guy's exercising and doing these crazy stretches, and he's just running circles around his peers. And he's like, when you get old, it doesn't have to be like everyone thinks, where you're have these immobility issues and you're arthritic and you're in pain all the time. It's not the case. A lot of that's just the nutrition and the food those people are eating.
Yeah, my mom is 75, going to be 75 this year in November. And she started carnivore probably almost a month ago. Ketovore mostly, but she eats a little bit of veg, but mostly carnivore. And I've been doing her update. Like I'm trying to do her update once a week so that people can see how she's doing. But yes, I mean, there's so many people that have been closet carnivores that nobody knew that they were a carnivore. And now they're coming out of the woodwork. I mean, I'm trying to subscribe to everybody's channels. It's so many videos. And then I'm working on my videos, which take so much time.
Right.
But, yeah, so it's just really exciting to see kids from the babies, like JT's baby, all the way up to our elderly people that are finding the proper human diet and really thriving. So it's just absolutely amazing.
Yep. Yeah.
I do have, yeah, go ahead.
I was saying just one thing real quick. You mentioned me being fired up before, and I did a video a while back where it was kind of negative, but I hate the fact that there are closet carnivores that are scared to talk about it because they say stuff and then they get shamed. And the reason I hate that so much, for people that don't know, that saw that video and they're like, Carrie, be nice, whatever. Because I was saying, shame on you. If you're shaming carnivores, shame on you. Because how many other Bills are there out there in the world that may never hear this because someone's too scared to talk about it because their friends and family are going to be like, what? You're just eating meat, just eat in moderation. You're going to have a heart attack. And it's so backwards from reality. So yeah, that's why I get fired up. If you're a carnivore, talk about it. Go be brave. Share your story with people because you're going to help so many other people out there.
Right. Somebody just put a comment up here that this is the truth. I posted my video today about my frustration about the backlash, I guess I would say, that the carnivore community is getting for talking about the benefits. And this is what it is, right? Is that there's a lot of money to be made in people being sick. A lot of money. So
profits over people, Robyn. That's how they are.
Yes, agreed. So JT, I wanted to ask you, I have been having the carnivoredietmovie.com scrolling at the bottom, and I just wanted to ask you a little bit about chatting with carnivores. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, it's his passion has become my passion. And he was nice enough to have me on his channel and interview me. And it made me feel special. And I want to make people feel special like that. And it also not only makes the person feel special because they get to share their story. It's a wonderful story that's going to go out there, be heard by somebody, and change their life because they can totally relate to that person, whoever they may be, because we're all different shapes, colors, and sizes. And we're all going through different things, but we're all going through these different things together. And him sharing his story and let me know, he had sleep apnea and all this stuff, and we can fight back. Man, I just jumped right out of the tub. I was like, give me some bacon. Like, let's go. So chatting with carnivores is like my new mission now. It's so wonderful. I've had person after person, and if you guys are watching, you want to get on chatting with carnivores, pocomoonshinefamily@gmail.com. My inbox is flooded, but I'll get to all you guys because it's a life mission now. This is not like a temporary thing. And if you think we're all busy now, wait till the documentary comes out. Ooh, let's go. Thank you for asking, Robyn. Love you.
Yeah, no problem. I was gonna say what you just said. If you guys have a YouTube channel and you're a carnivore, you need to be chatting with JT on Chatting with
Even if
Carnivore.
you don't have a YouTube channel, you just
Oh, and I'm
you
sorry,
really
not
don't even
really.
yeah, you
Yeah.
really don't even need one. I can just email you the StreamYard link and you just click it and you just interview right from your phone. And you
You
don't
need
even
to
have to
interview
have
my mom, JT.
What's
You
that?
got to interview my mom. She's hilarious.
I would love to meet your mother and interview her. I would love that.
She's
You seen I got my
absolutely
93-year-old grandpa, he's doing carnivore and he's killing it.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw you brought him
I
a steak. That steak
I've
was
never
good.
interviewed Dr. Kiltz yet, but I listened to him and he's all about frequencies and lions and stuff, and I'm about the tigers, so I vibrate with Dr. Kiltz. If he's watching, man, I love that guy. I'd love to have him on. He seems like right up my alley, man. Just like this guy.
He's one of my favorites too. He's amazing.
Yeah, try the Dr. Kiltz ice cream, you guys.
Yep.
It's just like heavy cream with eggs, no sugar, nothing.
Mm.
It's actually really good, high in fat, and on carnivore we're like fativores.
Yes, that's what Dr. Kiltz said. I loved it when he said that.
Yeah.
It's all about the fat. I had Dr. Kiltz on, and he was awesome. Thomas Seyfried, he's a professor, from Boston University. That guy's doing some amazing work, and I learned about him through Jeff DeProsperous, the man with stage 4 cancer I mentioned earlier. I'm actually doing a live stream with Jeff tomorrow at 4:30 Central. And Thomas Seyfried is a life changer. A lot of the stuff Jeff learned about in terms of his regimen for going through chemo is from Thomas Seyfried. So yeah, I would love to talk to him more. Rena from 5 Minute Body recently did a video with Thomas Seyfried, and it was excellent. It's so eye-opening, some of the stuff that he's talking about in regards to cancer and how it feeds off of sugar.
Yeah. I haven't watched much of Thomas Seyfried, but I definitely will check out what he's talking about. Dr. Kills, I see he's online every morning at 5:00 a.m.
Yes.
Like, oh my gosh, I can't get up that early. I'm sorry. But yeah, and I do see him talking about ice cream, and my mom loves that. Loves that he makes ice cream and that she can make ice cream. So
my wife is texting me that my son is getting antsy upstairs, so I have to take off on my buddy and you guys. But I didn't really want to barge in on his interview. I just wanted to support my buddy and support you and show you guys some love. But I got to get a hug from my buddy.
Thank you
love
so
you,
much.
man.
Appreciate you.
Love you guys. Thank you for the support. Supporting Robyn and Carrie, okay?
And check out his channel, Poco Moonshine Family.
Yeah, I'll give you guys a bacon dance before I go.
Awesome.
I love it.
See you later, buddy.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
I love it, love it, love it. Okay, so let me see what else I wanted to see. So if anybody has questions for Carrie, I'm not really seeing any questions, but I'm seeing lots of comments. But if you have questions and that you want to put in the chat, you can go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about exercise. So do you have a regimen? And, what are you doing for exercise? I saw you out there climbing on, was it a pergola?
Yeah, I don't even know what that thing's called. It's like a gazebo or pergola. Yeah, I was getting crazy out there for sure. I do have a regimen. One of the things that is, people always ask me that, like, oh, you lost all this weight. You must have done it through exercise. And that's one big pet peeve I have, because when I was 100 pounds heavier than I am now, I used to hear that a lot. Well, you just got to get out and walk or exercise. I was so sick and depressed and fatigued. I'm like, I liken it to having the flu or pneumonia. How am I going to go exercise when I have pneumonia? I can barely get out of bed. So I only ever exercised after carnivore, and my energy came back and I started feeling good. I think maybe around day 30 or something. I'm so bad with dates, but it was a while into carnivore. And yeah, my whole regimen is, when you start doing carnivore, you start picking up these other good habits, or watching a lot of YouTube videos, you start picking them up. But one of them I learned from someone was the importance of getting natural sunlight. And so I leave my curtains open, and when the sun comes through, that's the first light that hits my eyes. And I heard from somebody, I think it was Andrew Huberman, saying that's critically important. You do not want artificial light from your phone or your bathroom light or your TV. It'll mess with your circadian rhythm. So that's what I've been doing that religiously now for a long time on carnivore. Sunlight hits my eyes, and then I go outside with no shoes on. I walk through the sand and the grass, and I got this little pergola thing. And the thing that I really like and I recommend to people, I think Bill's been using some of these too, are those resistance bands. So I've never exercised a lot. So I'm Dr. Chafee is the exercise king for sure. But like lifting weights and stuff like that, I'm doing more of that now. But the resistance bands have been really good for me. They're cool because they're cheap and they're portable, and you're not going to really hurt yourself like lifting a big heavy weight. And if it gets too heavy, you just put less resistance on the thing. So I do that every single morning. I've missed a couple, and when I was in Alaska, I missed a few, but almost every single morning I do it, and I feel like I have so much energy on carnivore that if I don't do that exercise, I'll be up all night, like with excess energy. The energy on carnivore is just crazy. It's coming out. So I gotta get rid of it somehow. So yeah, I do that every day. And the only other thing I've been doing is I've got some dumbbells by my desk, and I kind of turn it into a game. So every time I go to edit a video or I leave or I have a phone call, I come back, I try to lift those a couple times and try to just I don't like saying I got to work out Tuesday at 4 o'clock. So I have it there. I just try to make it a game and do it whenever I can.
Nice. I am not really working out right now. For some reason, I had that carnivore energy for a while, but it feels like I don't really have that right now. I'm pretty tired, and I wonder if it's because I went off of sugar-free sweeteners a week ago.
Mm,
So I was using liquid sucralose in my coffee, and I was drinking lots of sweet drinks, which I just love, and I feel so sad right now about it.
yeah.
Because it's really truly a sweet taste is an addiction, and I realized that. And since I did that a week ago, my energy level is just it's tanked.
Mm,
My mood is not that good, and I just feel like it feels like kicking an addiction for real.
yep.
Kicking that sweet taste. Even today, when I was getting ready for this interview, I was like, man, it would be nice to have a Diet Coke.
Right.
But
It
I'm determined. So
Yes. Well, good job kicking it. I know it's hard. I was so addicted to diet soda for so many years, and that's one of the things I love about carnivore is once you get to this point, Robyn, and you're like, no, I'm 100% in control. Like, because before for me, it was like, I'm almost in control, but I still gotta have the Diet Coke or the Diet Mountain
yeah,
Dew or whatever. But
yep,
getting to that point, I bet you it's just gonna be a couple more days, and you're gonna start feeling a turnaround when you get over that kind of addiction. You're not thinking about it anymore. Um,
yeah.
I noticed too, and whenever I get a little tired or weak, it's so hard. Everyone says it all the time, so it shouldn't be that hard. But getting enough fat on carnivore is tricky for a lot of people, myself included. So I noticed that when I increase my fat intake too, my energy gets up there, and then I'm exercising more and seem to be doing more.
This is a good question. I just highlighted this because this is a very good question. Like, how will we know if we're eating enough fat?
Yeah.
So should have better energy, it sounds like.
You'll have better energy. One thing I've heard, I think Dr. Chafee told me this one is really good advice. He's like, Curie, it's really kind of simple. It's kind of gross too. Your number twos, your bowel movements. If you have a lot of diarrhea, you're getting too much fat. And if you're not going to the bathroom enough, number twos, you're not getting enough. He's like, that's the best way to understand it. So, and well, it's tricky though. There's a little nuance to it because a lot of people, when they start carnivore, they're like, I used to go to the bathroom like twice a day and now I'm only going every 3 days. Well, that's just because you have a lot less waste in, so a lot less waste out. So that's normal. A lot of people are like, oh no, I'm constipated, but they don't have any pain or discomfort. It's like, no, your body's using a lot of that meat. But you should still go every couple of days. And if that frequency isn't there, then it's usually the fat. The other thing is the energy, like I mentioned earlier. That's a big thing for me. If I'm starting to feel a little weak or fatigued, it's usually because I'm not getting that fat ratio high enough.
So one of the things that I've been doing lately is my stepdad, he cooks a lot of brisket, and he has all those brisket trimmings. And so you make those fat beef crispy things.
Yeah.
So I've been eating those, and I feel like that's helping a lot, but it's the addiction. It's still not gone yet, and I think it's going to take a little bit more time. If I think about it, I've been addicted to sweet my entire life since an infant,
Yes.
So I'm trying to actually get rid of that. It's very, very challenging.
Right. Speaking of brisket, just real quick, I
Hmm.
smoked my first brisket last night, and that's all I've eaten today, and it was glorious and wonderful. I loved it. It was
Oh,
so good. Nice big fat content, delicious. I'm it's awesome, but then it's kind of ruining things for me now because I got to do more briskets now, and it's a big process smoking a brisket. Is like I did that thing all night last night, but yeah, it was delicious.
yeah, my stepdad he's a brisket king. Yeah, he is awesome at doing brisket. As a matter of fact, he just did one for me. I'm going to be doing sea lion for the month of October, so he just cooked me a brisket, and I got to go
Nice.
pick it up.
Awesome. That's a
So
good
good.
friend to have in your life or family member because that's like a
Yes,
science and an
absolutely.
art to doing brisket. It's not easy.
That's true, and he's literally perfected it. I just can't believe how good he is at doing it. You can't go to any of these guys, these places around and that serve brisket and eat the brisket and think it's good after you have his. So
Nice.
it's pretty good. Um, then, oh, I just wanted to see, there was a couple people talking about exercising here. Trying to see if I can find them. Dr. Baker is the exercise king, it
Yeah.
says. See, and then Alex is saying that the mini trampoline is easy. So, okay, that's good. Let me see. Is there anything else? Does anybody have questions is what I'm looking for? Hmm. This is a UK carnivorous asking a question. Do you think it's possible for governments to try and control meat consumption in the future, either through increased taxes or big pharma, big food companies buying farms to make meat sparse? Any thoughts on that?
Mm. It's a concern I have, whether it's the government or whatever else is money seems to drive everything. It's a big concern I have. I did a video a while back with my neighbors. I get a lot of my grass-fed beef from my neighbors. I did this video like following a day in the life of a family farm, and I was just like, well, this will be a fun video, but it was really eye-opening for me how incredibly hard they were working for pennies. Like my neighbor
Mm,
works a full-time job at a factory, and then for like another 10 hours a day or something, he's working on a farm trying to raise beef. And it's a big worry for me. So I don't know if it's going to be government or big food companies buying farms. My worry is like what's going to happen the next generation of people. Are they going to take on these jobs that are paying pennies? And so
right.
for me, it's like we really need to elevate the voices of independent farmers and family farms, because like my neighbor too, he's such an amazing person. He names his cows. He's a good steward of his
Mhm.
land, his cows. Like he's doing everything right. The meat is great. His prices are even. I'm like, dude, you're not even charging enough for all this work you're doing, and it's way less than what you'd even buy from like a big grocery store that's getting it from some big food company.
Wow.
So he's doing an amazing job, and my worry is what's going to happen with the next generation of people. So again, like JT and I were saying, I try not to worry about things I don't have control of. How can I help with that? I'm trying to elevate his voice, so I put him on YouTube, and
Yeah.
in the documentary, I want to talk about that more. And I'm encouraging other people. If you're starting out, there's so many people on here starting YouTube, which I love. And if you have like a local family farm you go to, talk to them, be like, hey, can I do a video here? Because it's fascinating. It's really interesting to see where your meat's coming from. My neighbor was so fired up and passionate. I've been going to church and I've known this guy for 8 years now, but he was always so quiet until we started talking about farming and raising beef. And he was so fired up. And I'm like, are you a carnivore? What's going on? Because he's like, I go to the grocery store and I look around and I laugh at what people are eating. I
Mm,
can't believe people are putting this food into their bodies. It's so crazy. I'm like, you're a
right.
carnivore. And then I was talking to them more and they're like, well, we pretty much just eat meat and liver and organ meats, and we'll have a little bit of vegetables, but we process them in a smart way. She had some, uh, however, our ancestors used to eat them. They'll only eat certain vegetables, they'll prepare them a certain way. And they were, I'm
Yep.
like, you're pretty much, you're like 95% carnivore, which is awesome. I didn't even
Right.
know that, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I do have a local farm that I work with to buy beef and chicken and pork for my family, and I am going to be going out to interview. I was supposed to do that today, and I had an event up, but I'm hoping to get out there next weekend and go interview them and talk to them about farming and
right.
see what they're doing out there, because I buy my meat from them. I've been buying meat from them for years now. So,
That's
and the
that's
quality of the
wonderful.
meat from the farmer is just incredible. It's so good. So it's
Yes.
night and day above what you can buy in the grocery store.
Yep. Yeah, and it's cool too, Robyn, because videos are so interesting when you're talking to someone that's passionate and fired up. And if they're farming and they're a family farm, I guarantee you they're passionate and fired up. Otherwise, why would they be doing it? Because they're not doing it to make a bunch of money. But in the documentary, I've mentioned this to some people, but for some that don't know, Maggie, who's the 82-year-old. A lot of people have seen her. If you haven't seen her, it's remarkable. I guess Google her. She was on Dr. Chafee's Instagram page. Her name is Maggie, and she's been independent rancher. She raises beef herself, and she's 82 years old, and she's been a carnivore for 60 years. She's thriving on carnivore, but she's raising her own meat, and she's riding horses, and she's fixing fences, and she's doing the work of someone half her age. It's truly remarkable. But we're going to be filming her
Oh,
soon.
nice.
Yes, I'm going to be going out to
Awesome.
Canada and filming her for YouTube and possibly for the documentary as well, to share her story. The reason I wanted to do it is because she's been a carnivore for 60 years. She's thriving. It covers the aging part that I talked about before. Everyone's worried about aging. She's 82 and she looks like she's 40. But then also
Yes.
what I just mentioned, she's an independent farmer, and it's so important. Like, if everyone wants to do carnivore, we got to know where you're gonna get the meat from. Where should you get the meat from? And to elevate those voices. She literally last year, she had to pay to be a farmer. She wasn't even working for pennies. She was paying to be a farmer. And she's so passionate and fired up about it too. I thank God that she's sticking to it and still doing it. But yeah, Dr. Chafee started a fundraiser for her, or she was going to lose her farm. And so we're going to try to help shout her out as well and do some YouTube videos for her.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Um, I saw when the first time Dr. Chafee interviewed her, and first of all, I couldn't believe that she was 80 something years old. The only way I could tell was the way she talked to him. It's
Yeah.
like, yes, she's definitely a grandma.
Yes. It's so funny. So Robyn, just like Bill, I talk to Bill every day. I've been talking to Maggie, not quite every day, but a couple times a week. And she's on like WhatsApp. And I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I don't know if anyone has seen this, or Robyn, if you've seen this movie. There was a movie called Age of Adeline. Have you seen this one? It's kind of a weird one.
No,
Okay,
I
well,
haven't heard it, I don't
it's
think.
this young woman in her 20s, and she gets in some freak accident, and she stays looking like she's in her 20s, but she continues to age. And then all of her loved ones die. It's kind of tragic. And then she makes relationships with other people, but she still stays the same age. It's an interesting movie, but long
I'll have
story
to go
short,
watch that.
yeah, Harrison Ford's in it too, which is the reason I saw it, because Jen loves Harrison Ford. But um, Maggie reminds me of that movie so much. You're talking to her, and then she's talking about like how her dad was off at the big war, and she's talking about all these things from like 80. And I'm like, I feel like I'm talking to a 30-year-old, but I'm talking to an 82-year-old. It's so weird.
Right. Yeah,
She
she
has the
looks
she
very,
has
very
the
young.
Yeah, her
Yeah.
voice and her demeanor and her enthusiasm is that of someone half her age. You don't feel like you're talking to an
Absolutely.
82-year-old grandma.
Right. And I've heard you say before on other interviews and other conversations that you've had that it's like what a natural 80-something-year-old should look like, right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Oh, shout out real quick. I got to do it. Oh, do I have it here? I don't know if I have it. My friend Alex. Here we go. Here we go. Sorry, I always gotta shout out my friend Alex. Yeah, this was
Yes.
Alex. So just for anyone who hasn't seen him, everyone probably has because I've shown him on every video. But this is Alex, and right here, he's 65 years old. And I was
Wow.
fortunate to have Dr. Barry on my channel, and I showed him this picture. And I said to Dr. Barry, isn't it amazing how people are reversing aging on carnivore? And Dr. Barry went, no, Carrie, I don't think that's what's happening. He said, Carrie, put the picture back up. This right here is what a proper 65-year-old would look like. All of them would look like if they ate a proper natural human diet. I'm like, oh, that's so smart. I never thought of. We aren't reversing aging. That's just what you look like when you're that age. I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Is this Alex in the chat? What's Alex's last name?
Alex Cannon.
Oh no, this is a different Alex. Okay. Oh my gosh, lots. Oh, here's a question coming in. Let me read the question. Hi, I just got back to Australia from the UK. It was so hard to stick to carnivore there. Plus, I got COVID. So I'm starting day 1 today. How many electrolytes a day would you recommend? I've been having 2 element, but still slight headache. Maybe up that to 3? Question from Michelle.
Yeah. Well, it's a good job you're getting the electrolytes those first couple days because some people miss that.
Yes.
It's tricky with the element. Like I have trouble even now having a full packet of element. I'll sometimes put half in, and if you look at the directions, they just say do it to whatever your taste is. So the fact
Mm-hmm.
that you're having that many and still having a headache, um, I don't think going to 3 is really going to help. Having 2 is quite a bit actually, if I'm thinking
It's
about
a
it.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what else are you doing? It's tricky too, 'cause some people don't get enough water. You process so much water those first couple days. So I would say, are
Yes.
you hydrating and getting enough water? And then what are you eating? Are you getting enough fatty meat? So like my daughter Emma, when she started, she went from vegan to carnivore against my advice. I told her you're not
Mm.
doing this at all, and she's like, "Okay, Dad," and then she just did it anyways. But she had the electrolytes and she was eating really fatty meat and she was drinking a lot of water and she didn't have any issues with a headache or anything like that. So some of it might be unavoidable, unfortunately, because you are going through a big adaptation. So, but if you're getting the electrolytes, that's wonderful. I would make sure you're getting enough water and enough fatty meat and then see how you feel from there.
I agree. I think 1 is probably enough. 2 maximum. I don't think I would up it to 3. Of course, I'm not any kind of a medical professional, so I can't tell you, much about the medical part of that. But yeah, I think that Carrie has given some good advice to make sure you're getting enough water, make sure you're getting enough rest, all of the things, because if it's day 1, you might just have a little bit of a headache just trying to get off of everything that you've been eating. I know that when I switched from using the sugar-free sweeteners last week, I had a headache for several days. And, I take electrolytes every day, but yet I still had a headache because I was detoxing from whatever was in my body from those sweeteners. So whatever you're getting rid of could be causing that problem as well. Thanks for that question, Michelle. Another couple questions down here. Let's see. Carrie, have you seen your cameo in Jamie French's video on Carnivore? It's worth a watch.
No, no, I haven't. I hope it's good. I have a feeling maybe it's not. I don't know. I'll have to check that one out. No, I have not seen that. Thanks for the heads up.
All right. And then there's another one up here. This one says, if you had never discovered carnivore, what would you be doing now? Suffering.
Yeah. That's a
Suffering.
UK carnivore guy. I like that question because I always tell that to people who are considering carnivore, but they're too scared to start. I always say that to
Mm,
them. Okay, well, what if you don't start? Where are you going to be a year from now or 5 years from now? Continuing to do what you've done that got you to this point right now. If I never discovered carnivore, I don't even want to think about that. My foot would still be killing me. I couldn't walk on it before. Depression, anxiety, I'd still be snoring every single night. The brain fog, oh my goodness. Yeah, I would just be hopefully still just puttering through life miserable, taking all of these pills and going to doctor appointment after doctor appointment after doctor appointment, trying to figure out what's wrong with me with no answer in sight.
mm. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think about my anxiety that part of the big why I'm doing this is to get rid of anxiety, how bad it was before I started carnivore. And I don't want to go back to that, even though I still have some anxiety. Um, I don't want to go back to what it was. So I just think about, not being able to drive and being stuck in my house and all of that kind of thing, having to have my husband take me everywhere, so that kind of be where I would be at. One thing I noticed this week, I was at praise team rehearsal yesterday, and I noticed that my singing voice has changed. Uh, so I think, the fat in the throat, I could tell that my fatty throat or fatty tongue or whatever was going on in there is healing itself, because my voice was just, it was noticeably different to me. Like, oh, I don't have
Can you
that.
demonstrate quick?
No, I'm not going to sing.
That's amazing. You know, it's so funny you mentioned that. JT just interviewed a gentleman yesterday, and
Mhm.
he was the same thing. I think he said he started carnivore for that reason. And I guess that's a big thing. I knew about the inflammation because I stopped snoring, but the tongue too. Apparently, your tongue actually gets a lot smaller when you're doing carnivore, lack of
Yes.
inflammation, I guess. That's amazing. That's really cool.
Yeah, that was pretty, it was profound for me in the moment, because I was like, wait a minute, what?
Right? It's like
What
you
are
got
you
to write
saying,
this
girl?
down. Another thing on carnivore, it's so many things you got to write them down. It's hard to keep track.
Yeah, I have to write that one down, because that was unexpected. And I mean, I've been carnivore for 7 months now, and it's just starting to happen now after 7 months. So that's one thing that I always say, like when I see people saying, well, I'm not losing weight, or things aren't happening fast enough, is that your body, it has to have time to heal. So let that body have time to heal on carnivore, and then all the weight loss and all of the other things will come naturally as you go along.
Yes.
So
One thing I want to add, Robyn, you mentioned the anxiety and you still have some of it. I'm really hoping that goes away for you because that was just such a horrible part of my life for so long. It sounds like it went away a little bit, but not all the way. But I have a feeling now that you kicked those artificial sweeteners, maybe that'll do it. Or it's just time, like you said. You've been doing carnivore for a long time, but it's really remarkable. Dr. Chafee said this to me on like day 30. It gets better, and he was telling me the science and how like the sheathing and your like he was talking about this stuff. I didn't even understand what he was saying, but he's like, it gets better and better and better. And it's been true for me. So hopefully that'll go away completely for you, because that's been one thing that's crazy on me. Like I was so anxious before this, and I have none of that. Like not even 1%. It's just completely gone. It's the weirdest thing.
amazing. So I know that I need to stop drinking coffee, and I just am not ready for that yet.
Yep.
At the January, we'll be having a 21-day fast in our church, and if I don't give it up before then, I'll definitely give it up in January.
Yeah.
So I mean, so many changes. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to have something. So
Right.
I'm hanging on to that one thing. And what happened to me is I listened to Dr. Chafee one night. He said you need to stop our artificial sweeteners and stop drinking coffee immediately. And I the next day stopped the sweeteners. So one day I might just decide, you know what, I'm done with coffee. And then I'll stop. But right now I'm just hanging on to it.
Right. Well, hey, you're doing 99.9% better than most people out there with just having the coffee with everything else you're doing. So
All right. We have 3 minutes left, actually about 2 minutes left. I really want to make sure that we talk about the Carnivore Diet movie, how people can support, and what do you need? What's on your heart?
yeah, I appreciate it. So anyone that wants to participate, we're still taking people. You can register at carnivoredietmovie.com. We're trying to follow people for the course of 1 year. I'm encouraging everyone that registers to do a YouTube channel, because that's the best way. If you just send me a 60-second video, that doesn't really tell the whole story. So people that have been submitting their YouTube channels on there, and then we have a whole group of volunteers that are helping us go through all of those. So we're making good progress there. Other than that, we've raised a lot of money during the 24-hour live stream, which I'm so thankful for. So we have enough to continue filming, but we want to do this. People keep asking, like, what's the exact dollar amount you need? And it's like, we have enough to build an amazing house that we could live in. This is the analogy I like to use. But if we raise more funds, we can make an extraordinary house it's going to be better. So it's like, we can work with what we have here, and I'm going to get this done no matter what. I'm not going to stop until we reach millions of people with this, but we are still trying to raise funds so that when it comes time at the very end, every one of these big doctors, they're amazing, by the way, have agreed to participate. Dr. Chafee, Dr. Baker, Dr. Barry, Dr. Philip Ovadia, the heart surgeon, Dr. Tony Hampton, who I absolutely love, Dr. Kiltz, Dr. Lisa Wiedemann. We got 8 people. I'm so sorry because I probably missed one of them. we have at least 8 doctors that are going to participate. And when we film them, it has to be done professionally. It's going to be expensive in order to get it on one of these big streaming services. So we are still trying to raise funds. You can donate at carnivoredietmovie.com. We have the little Redmond salt shakers you can buy. Every penny goes to those that we get from those goes to the documentary. Memberships, if you become a member on the channel, every penny goes towards that as well. We also have some pretty cool shirts, Compassionate Carnivore shirts. If you purchase those, every penny goes to the documentary. So that's really the only other thing we need, other than the last thing is this is a community grassroots project. It isn't my carnivore diet documentary. It's everybody's. And I've had some amazing feedback from people in the chat right now. Like Primal Mike gave me some great ideas early on that are going to be in the documentary. So any ideas, suggestions, tips, like, hey, you guys got to interview this person. Their story's got to be in there. Please send them my way. CarnivoreDietMovie.com. I think we have a form on there, or anyone can always email me to homesteadhow@gmail.com. So those are the big things. And then other than that, I always encourage people, talk about carnivore. And if you're interested, do a YouTube channel, share your story, because you'll inspire other people. You could change the world that way.
So Carrie, you're the reason I'm doing my YouTube channel. I had started back in February my carnivore way of eating, and I thought I'm going to start a YouTube, but I didn't. And then I don't know, maybe about a couple months ago, 2-3 months ago, I heard you saying, you're going to start your YouTube channel. Start your YouTube channel. Start your YouTube channel. You're telling everybody, start your YouTube channel. And I said, you know what? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start my YouTube channel. Plus the fact that I didn't really see anybody out there who looks like me that was doing this. And I was like,
Right.
There's got to be some, African-Americans, some people of color, some women, African-American women that are carnivore. And I wanted to speak with them. I wanted to speak with somebody that I resonate with. And not that I'm not resonating with all of you guys, but you guys are guys.
Right.
I'm looking for a woman that I can, talk to. And so I appreciate you so much, Carrie. Just everything that you're doing. I'm calling you the carnivore champion, and I'm hoping that phrase will get coined, because that's who you are. That passion, that drive, that just getting out there, talking to everybody, all those list of doctors and also scientists and everybody. You're just talking to everybody. And then, of course, the Carnivore Diet movie. I'm so excited and enthused about it, because I know it's going to change the lives of millions of people. So I want to thank you for coming and being interviewed on CarnivorousGrama Speaks. And I guess better say bye-bye.
Yes.
Bye.
Thank you so much. And just one last quick shout out. Check out Robyn's channel if you're coming from mine. I love what you're doing. You're killing it over there. You didn't just start YouTube. You're doing a heck of a job. It's wonderful what you're doing. So thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun. I really appreciate it.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.